Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to The House Always Wins. Today, like I always do, we're going to be talking about Draftkings, where they're at. It's one that I've got in at IPO, and I know a few guys who've been following me have been at. And we're going to talk about why it has sold off from the all-time high at 43. The big news there was the CEO, Jason Robbins, and some of the other people there sold off a portion of their stocks, which kind of makes sense. Because the initial IPO that day it rose up started at about $18. It had the trading under the SPAC under whatever the SPAC company was called back then. I'm drawing a blank on it now. So what's happened is there's been some investor sell off, and there's not been a lot of news with the company. But I think it's pretty much flattened out here a little bit, and I think it's poised to break out again upside with no sports canceling or anything like that. But you guys have noticed I've been away for a little bit, but the other company we're looking at today is HYLN, which is another SPAC that went through or that's going through, which is similar to DraftKings. Is kind of why I've looked at this one. And I can kind of tell you guys about what I've done with this company when I invested and kind of the growth prospects I see with this company. A lot of you guys follow Tesla, and that's been a great stock to own. I've had Tesla shares for a while now, and I'm just kind of planning to hold those forever. But here's where we're going to be looking today at mostly at HYLN, and we'll finish up talking a little bit more about DraftKings, but which I still think is a great buy and hold company. But the quick thing with HYLN is I encourage you guys to look at other YouTube channels and this full investor presentation for more information. I'm just doing a real quick thing. Is Tesla? Here's kind of HYLN has two solutions. They have the hybrid electric, which is why they have revenue today, which Nikola Motors doesn't, where they can basically just retrofit, and they partner with Dana, the company Dana Axles. And they have all these partners with battery companies like Toshiba and everything. And they're available today. They're making revenue today, retrofitting semi-trucks that are out there. So they're already getting revenue today. Really promising stuff there as that continues to grow. And I think some of these just trucks is the way companies save money, just stay on the road for decades. So I think the retrofit is a good option. But they're big. Why you'd probably invest in this company is the future is the opportunity with this Hypertruck ERX. This one over here I'm looking at on the right side. Upfront cost, a little concerning to me as an investor, is that it is higher than Tesla. This shows a $200,000 Tesla. I believe Tesla's also working on a $150,000. And Tesla may solve full self-driving, especially on these highways, which I think is the easiest place for Tesla to do it. But what I think, what information I might have here, and this is just total speculation, that I think the Hypertruck, there's already a lot more in these natural gas stations, particularly in Asia, which is kind of the main fuel for this. It's going to be net carbon negative. I think it's going to be cheaper than just off the grid. It might even be cleaner because a lot of electricity power comes from like coal and stuff. So unless Tesla can assure their customers that they're only doing it from solar and wind power, it might actually be a dirtier, just electricity off the grid, dirtier and more expensive than compressed natural gas. But me as a HYLN investor as well, I'd be a little bit concerned with full self-driving if they can kill off truck drivers. That might give Tesla an unassailable lead. However, I say that where in the United States, I think HYLN has the best opportunity overseas with all these compressed natural gas stations already, and I see it as Asia, like countries like India and in South America, where eventually, I'm not saying anytime soon, but as a long-term play for HYLN, I think where Tesla can't do full self-driving all over the world, which is where they might completely dominate. Like I'm talking 10 years from now, they might put semi-truck drivers out of business if they have the full self-driving. Companies like HYLN might really struggle. But if HYLN is the 7-year total cost of ownership, the way to go, way cheaper than Tesla and Nikola. Now that doesn't include eliminating truck drivers, but in these roads in India and places like South America, if compressed natural gas stays cheaper, and Tesla just can't put those chargers everywhere, like certainly in the first world for sure, like United States. But this is one thing no one's really talked about with HYLN, that I think they're going to be a a pretty good play if they can really do some international stuff. And I've heard the CEO talk about leasing some of these hybrid electric solutions already in Europe. And I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to expand internationally and where they're doing production, because I know they're doing it in Austin, Texas. The facility looked incredible. I encourage everyone to go look at it. I think this compressed natural gas, renewable natural gas, might be the way to go, because I've looked at a lot of research on this. The early struggles with the adoption was from truck drivers saying they're underpowered, but it seems like with the Hypertruck ERX and their acceleration time, they got it 0 to 60 and the lowered. So I think they figured out the low power on it, and it is the cheapest. So, and HYLN's going to expand maybe if the infrastructure gets there for like hydrogen. So that's one potential area where they call themselves fuel agnostic, where they'll basically adapt to whatever makes the most sense. So my initial concern, I think, that it is a long-term thing with Tesla doing full self-driving, but I think if HYLN can still keep this cost low and expand to all the places in the world, I think for next 20 or 30 years, there actually really is a solid play for this. Is supposed to be an $800 billion industry where I think all these companies will have some market share. I'm really negative on Nikola until they can prove that they can do something. So far, they've really only put pictures of stuff online. There's really no product or revenue at all. But so what did I do with HYLN? I heard about the acquisition at $17. I did the research, and I ended up buying $20,000 worth of share at $19, and I did just buy another $1,500 at this dip around 27, somewhere here this morning. So this is going to go like DraftKings did, where it's going to Q3 this year. It's probably the end of September. It will do exactly what DraftKings did. Change the ticker symbol. This one's going to be on the New York Stock Exchange, and I think it's pretty interesting, just long-term play that I think I'm just going to buy these whole shares. Probably not even buy any more. It's a pretty good portion of my portfolio now, and just let them pop and run up. I'll transition back to DraftKings a little bit here. That the PGA Tour has been back online. They've been doing Millionaire Maker tournaments all through this. They're going to expand. They did have a deal fall through with all online gambling with California, but it's not a permanent solution where they couldn't just have more news with more online gaming going forward. But with the NFL season coming back, UFC fights, esports expanding, their online gaming, I do kind of see this trend of just a little bit downturn, but I think this is the resistance level here this past trading week or so, where it could dip a little bit more, maybe into the 20s, but I think this is going to rebound for the fall of this year. So I think anyone who's just been, most of you guys follow me on DraftKings this year, I think this one's gonna rebound and actually be pretty good long term. This company's got a lot of growth ahead of it. So anyone who's kind of worried on this peak here at 43, there was some insiders selling off, but I don't think I heard anything more than 15% of any of these execs, and I can't blame any of them for taking profit for a merger when this stock was basically before it was the SPAC company was around $10. It didn't pop off till 18 till like IPO day in the ticker change. So I don't blame some of them. They probably got some houses and stuff they want to buy, but they're keeping most of their shares. And as far as I know, George Soros, ESPN, Disney, all that stuff, they're still invested in this for the long term. And I think it's going to be a really good partnership for the NFL and PGA Tour and a lot of the other sports. So I'll kind of stop the video here. I think you guys have seen enough today, but encouraging you guys to check out HYLN too. I'm a believer in it, but you guys take a look at all the other channels, see what you guys think of it. I think there's room for it and Tesla. But these are kind of my growth stocks, my two ones I see for the future. I'm also a big fan of companies that are more stable, just the blue chip growth like Microsoft, Apple. I'm a big believer in a Chinese company called Tencent, some other ones. But that's all I'm wrapping up for today. You guys go check out, do your own research on HYLN.